In this video series, I'm going to walk you through the Chapter 2.1 lab. This is a lab that's based around using formulas in Excel. Formulas can be very advantageous because if we set them up in Excel to reference our initial data, if our initial data changes, we don't have to rewrite the formula or reperform the calculation. We'll see that played out in this video series. So I'm going to read through all this. I see that there's a download data file, chapter 2 data file that I'm probably going to need for this chapter, but I'll keep reading just to make sure, and then eventually I get to my first instruction. Open the data file named chapter 2 data and use the file save as command to save it with the new name chapter 2 personal budget. Now we're going to make a slight change to this file name. We're going to say 154 chapter 2.1 personal budget. So I'll scroll back up and then click on chapter 2 data right next to download data file to download it. And then I'm going to say 154 chapter 2.1 personal budget. And then that shows up down here. I can click on it to open it up. And when Excel opens, I'm also going to move it to the left using the Windows key and the left arrow key. And then I'm going to select my textbook so that I have those side by side. And then I'll go back to my instructions. Step 2. Click the Budget Detail Worksheet tab to open the worksheet. The worksheets are all down at the bottom. So I'll click the Budget Detail Worksheet. Click cell C3. I'll go over to Excel and click cell C3. And I'm going to first type an equal sign. Now a quick note about this, it's very important to type the equal sign first. The equal sign must come first. Without the equal sign, we cannot do a formula in a cell. We must have the equal sign, or else the formula will just show up as text. The equal sign tells Excel that we're doing an Excel formula or an Excel equation to where we want the output of the formula to show right in that cell. So I have the equal sign, and then it says type D3. D3, it's referencing the cell D3, and I can see that with it highlighted. And then it says to type a slash symbol. This is the symbol for division in Excel. And then I'll write 12. This is a constant because there are always constantly 12 months within a year. What we're doing is we're making an equation to give us how much we will monthly spend on household utilities. This is based off the fact that we yearly spend $3,000 on household utilities. If I yearly spend $3,000, we can make an assumption that we can split this 12 ways to get the amount that I will spend each month. So D3 divided by 12 is going to give me $250 that I spend each month. That's assuming that my spending is uniformly distributed across each month of the year. So I have $250 now. I pressed enter to go down to the next cell so that I can see my result here. If I double click within the cell that I wrote a formula in, I can see that formula. I can check the formula, make sure it's correct. Now I'll read through this, and then I will go down to my next instruction. Okay, so I can do something called relative referencing, which means I can copy the formula that's in C3. I can copy it into C4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I can copy it within these cells, but update the reference to be the next cell in the D column. Now, the instructions for doing that are to click cell C3, so I'll click cell C3. place the mouse pointer over the autofill handle. If you remember, the autofill handle is in the lower right corner where we get a black plus sign. Remember, you must have the black plus sign on your cursor. So I'm going to left click and drag this, as it says, down to C11. This is the range C4 through C11. Doing this and then letting go will copy the formula that was in C3 in these other cells. And notice that the cell reference that was originally in C3 has updated to the new cell down the column. If I double click in C4, I'll see that the cell reference has updated to D4. Or if I double click in D5 or in C5, I can see that it is updated to D5. And so it goes, whoops, and so it goes with the rest. Don't immediately double click another cell after double clicking in one cell. I'm going to press escape and then double click the next cell to show you. I'm double clicking within each cell and after pressing escape.